Paul McCartney emerged from lockdown, at least virtually, for two major events this week. He played a soulful rendition of Lady Madonna for the global Citizen One World Together at Home concert special. And he gave a sprawling hour-long interview to Howard Stern that revealed his deepest feelings toward fellow Beatles, and gave a sneak peek of his opinion of the forthcoming Peter Jackson Let It Be documentary scheduled to be released in the near future. On his call with Howard Stern, McCartney told the audience that he was, like the rest of us, hunkered down at home. McCartney said he's doing well living at his home in Sussex in the south of England. His daughter Mary and her children are there, though he's away from wife Nancy, who was in New York when the overseas travel ban was implemented. McCartney said that the current crisis reminded him of growing up in England after World War II, when everyone pulled together to help each other out after an existential crisis. McCartney was born in 1942. The Beatle bassist went on to chastise the Chinese government and call for an end to the wet markets that are being identified as the possible starting point for the spread of the virus. McCartney is a longtime vegetarian and has long been outspoken about the inhumane treatment of animals. He had some harsh words for the presumed cause of the pandemic. "Let's face it, come on, it's a little bit medieval eating bats." McCartney called on prominent figures in entertainment and government to encourage China to shut down the wet markets, saying that there are many cultural traditions that countries learn to forego on their path to modernity. McCartney didn't agree with the excuse that the markets were part of the culture and couldn't be changed. "It just doesn't make any sense at all. They did slavery forever too, and you've got to change things at some point." Stern wondered about how the Beatles would have become the tight band that they did, famously honing their craft on the road for years before being discovered, if they were coming of age during the coronavirus pandemic. "Can you imagine what this would have been like if this were happening when you were starting out with the Beatles?" he asked. "Your whole life would have been put on hold. You would have never gotten started as musicians. All the clubs would be shut down. There would be no one to play music for." McCartney agreed, saying that the Beatles would see occasional cancellations due to severe weather, like a hurricane, but never a challenge like the current crisis. He and his current band have had to cancel numerous dates and were unsure whether they would be able to play again this year. Stern took the opportunity to present a what-if scenario about the Beatles after the breakup. Could the band have persevered with just George and Ringo, and not John? But Paul was having none of it. "It's like when a family breaks up.